We ready? Yeah, so we are. So, firstly, I want to apologize for disrupting your final minutes or seconds of your talks. On my behalf and on Stefan's behalf. Because I sent him into the other rooms. It wasn't his fault. Okay? He just happened to do what he had to do. Right, Stefan? So have you enjoyed all this? I mean, seriously, guys. That was not the reason I asked you the question. I asked you the question I honestly want an answer. I'm going to get some of my mates up here to sort of close this. But I'd just like to say, before I thank you all for being phenomenal, I think I'm going to give a clap to the guys at the back. Okay? Now, I want to add one person, two people to that. One is Michael, who actually I was working with for the last 7 or 8 months or whatever it was on putting all the tech stuff together. He was phenomenal. But there's also been, and we found this out a few weeks ago, they have a little guy in the office, in their office, who's had to manage the other 80 presentations, right? The online ones that go on from 6 in the morning to 10 or 11 at night, whatever it is, and 4 in the morning till 8 in the morning. And as far as I know, with a few exceptions, and I'm sure there's many more when we finish it up, they literally did get, the online people, about 20 hours of programming, including hours plus all this other stuff. And so somehow this extended hybrid idea, which I didn't particularly like at the beginning, as some of you know, sort of worked. And I apologize to those people who lost 5 minutes here and there because they couldn't get in or, system didn't work. But, I cannot thank you really enough for actually coming here to Berlin, whether you're from Berlin or you came from outside of Berlin. Finally, that we can meet in person. And in addition to that, the fact we could actually meet in person with a 2G program that we actually didn't have to wear masks the whole damn time. Because when we made that decision about, I don't know, a month and a half ago, or whatever it was sort of like a bit of a risk, right? We don't know, a lot of you we know personally for other reasons, but we don't go around asking you, did you have your jabs or something? That's not, normal point of conversation. And so the fact that we could actually get, nearly 200 people to attend my first actual in-person conference for the last 18 months, I think it's fantastic. So you should give an applause to yourselves, actually, for being really good citizens and doing the right thing to keep us all damn safe, because that's probably one of the most important factors at the moment, in addition to the topics we discussed and the program that we had. So thanks very, very much for that. I want to hand this over to Stefan. He's going to warm us up again, I think, or do something. I don't know what he does. I don't know what he does, really, but anyway, whatever he does.
Thanks, Derek. So don't be afraid. I'm not going to make you stand up again, as I did in the warm-up session. It's not. It's not the plan. But I think after those very intense 3 days, maybe we should slow down a little bit and reflect on what's happened, and also create an impulse into the next steps, maybe also next steps for the Federation. So reflecting on content, of course, there was a huge amount of content at this conference, and I think you all took notes, and you took elements that you want to use in your own practice as a futurist. I think that's all in your papers, and you will reflect on this. Another issue that we try to achieve at the conference is to invite you to connect with others, create occasions to connect with others. I told the story about the waiting in line. So maybe some of you connected with others while you were waiting in line at lunch, at the reception. Or you used the sessions, of course, or on Tuesday evening, feels like a long time ago, on Tuesday evening at the reception. Maybe there were some connections that you made, meeting some old friends, some new. Maybe over dinner, the gala dinner here downstairs. Maybe reflect, who did I sit next to? Recall. So what were the connections that you made there? What were the connections maybe when you went to the ReFuture Lab? It seems to have been a lot of fun, I hear. Yeah, I took the other group to the Futurium, which was much more serious element. But I can tell that there were some new connections made while we were walking, and thanks for the two with the bicycles, and not here, who took us there, who showed us a very scenic way through Berlin. So loads of connections, maybe also coffee with a futurist in the morning. But I heard, and that's where I'm heading, where I'm trying to lead you to, I heard a lot of reflections already about the field in general, the field of futures studies, and also some reflections about the Federation. And I'd like to invite you to recall maybe some of the conversations you've had about the field, some general issues, about the tasks maybe of the Federation, the role of the Federation, or someone else's, someone else. So maybe to have some, I heard a lot about this. I'll give you 2 minutes of quiet time to think about it, and then I'll tell you where this is heading. And the invitation would be to give a question to the field, about the field, for the field, as a gift to the field. And we're going to harvest this on cards that did we have an applause for the volunteers? You're going to do this later. Oh, wait, we do it now. You can stand up. Because they're distributing cards, and the invitation is that you formulate a question to the field of future studies, for the field, a how, a what, a why, a question like this that addresses the issues, the concerns that came up during the conference. Why, how, what, who. If you formulate it as a question that you don't know the answer to, of course, otherwise it would be boring. You can give us straight the answer. Something new, something big, obviously, something important, something relevant for you, something to be explored together or individually after. So now I'm really going to give you 2 minutes of quiet time. A concern formulated with a question, which often have a question mark at the end. That's the only restriction. Oh, Mr. Miller, you have many questions. You need more cards, Mr. Miller. More pens. And the, okay. A lot of writing still going on. Finish your question or your questions. Maybe there's a quest developing out of those questions. And we will collect it, all your questions, and we'll make good use of them. And this is already the lead over to Eric. There's going to be a strategy session of the Federation this afternoon. Maybe we can make good use of some of your questions there, and maybe at another occasion later on. And you can, of course, make a copy of your question for your own notes, but please hand on. Oh, there's more. The volunteers are also writing. Super. Because when you're done writing, can you please do the same thing again and collect all the cards with the questions on them? One more thing. If you want to put your name on it, if you want to be identified as the person who's asking this question, if you want to be called by someone maybe later, put your name on it. If you're not, then not. All right? Collecting questions. Thank you very much. And that was a very brief reflection. You'll have more time to reflect on your way home, over the weekend, and over to Eric.
Stefan, thank you. Just now I'm very tempted to do a Woodgate, but I'm gonna leave it there. So I leave to do the Woodgate to Woodgate. I really don't know exactly what to say. I think these 3 days have been amazing. From my perspective, it was a great experience. And it makes me proud to see such a crowd. I mean, we aimed at the in-person event. That was a risky business. We didn't know if that at all was possible when we started planning. But we believed that it was possible. And now we have carried through with some limitation. All our members from Australia couldn't come. A lot of people from Latin America and also Southeast Asia couldn't come due to the pandemic. But in spite of that, we have been gathering here more than 130 people. And I think that's really amazing due to the situation in which we are. So, if you look at the Federation have a long history, but it's also in transition. And in particular, at the time being, we are in a very interesting transition. And some of the ideas and some of the things that have been discussed during this conference, we want to bring into and try to organize activities around these kind of topics that we've been discussing in the further development of the Federation. So I won't go deeply into the different topics, but I'm really so proud, so happy that we have been able to carry this out, and I hope you enjoyed it too. So, before we close down this conference, I would like to have Helga, Derek, and Stefan with me on stage. Without these guys, we wouldn't have any conference at all. It's unimaginable what they have been doing the last months. It's really, I don't know what to say. So a big hand to those three. Yeah. So we are aiming at seeing you all soon again, because we are now, close your ears please, because I don't think they'll want to hear that, but we are now starting immediately to plan the next conference. So, okay. But we are thinking about this. So within a short period of time, we're going to decide on where we're going to have the next conference, and it's going to be the 50th anniversary conference for the Federation. and we're going to find a great place to do that. So thank you very much for being a part of this. And now I leave the microphone to Derek. It's the last word of this conference. Thank you.
Generally in life, I never get the last word, so just to be quite clear about that. It is true, what Eric just said, and we're not in the event business, okay? You have to understand that. We're full-time practicing futurists and professors. We do not normally put together events. So, and of course, you know, you can't, yes, we form with the steering committee, but I'd like to say that we actually did have another organizing committee that worked with us frequently. So, you know, Maya, Alethea, Karl-Heinz, Tanya, Edgar, Andreas, Claire, Muma, who's still here, Tasneem, and Victor all contributed a lot, you know, and this was sort of like, it was an interesting, and UNESCO in particular, because they joined our meetings. They weren't even part of the team. But you know what a UNESCO's like. They want to be everywhere. And so they just turn up. You know, you have people turn up at the meetings. I have no idea where they got the timing of the meeting or anything from, but they were everywhere. They were fantastic. So I have to thank them too, right, you know. But my personal view is not about the next, that's the last thing I want to think about at the moment, is the next meeting. But I do want to say this, that we would always like to get back feedback about what we could do better, what we couldn't. I mean, one thing I do think that as we move forward with hybrid meetings and so, there'll be better tech, there'll be better ways of organizing that, there'll be completely new platforms, and a lot of that's happening right at the moment. But I'd love to hear back, not to my email, okay, let's be quite clear. But the other one, what's the one we have for the thing? Is it contact at WFSF 2021, whatever, at gmail.com. Use that and send back feedback and tell us what was great and what wasn't and how you could all do it better, because we're looking for people for the next one, right, to actually organize it. And, you know, I'd leave you with that. No, please do send back any feedback. We'd like to know what we could sort of do better. And not just the actual conference, but the evenings as well, okay? Thank you. Enjoy your lunch, and those of the members, will see you back in the room, I don't know, 1:30, I suppose. Oh, 2 o'clock, isn't it? 2 o'clock for the members' meeting. Thanks very much, guys.